Hey there, fellow gardeners, and welcome back to Smart Garden. Today we're going to completely transform the way you think about soil fertility. Imagine creating a garden amendment so powerful that it practically grows itself, and the best part? It costs you absolutely nothing. We're talking about transforming abundant, overlooked natural resources like seaweed and fish scraps into over 1,000 gallons of the most potent soil booster your plants have ever experienced. Forget those expensive, store-bought solutions. It's time to unlock nature's regenerative secret right in your backyard. The soil's secret unlocking free fertility. The modern gardening industry has conditioned us to believe that healthy, productive soil requires a constant stream of expensive inputs, bags of synthetic fertilizers, bottles of specialized amendments, and premium soil conditioners line the shelves, all promising miraculous results for a premium price. But here's the truth that commercial companies don't want you to discover. The most powerful fertility boosters are often completely free and readily available all around us. We're talking about two incredible resources that most people consider waste: seaweed washed up on beaches and fish scraps from your local market or fishing endeavors. These overlooked materials are absolutely packed with nutrients, growth hormones, and beneficial compounds that commercial products simply cannot match. When properly fermented, these natural ingredients create a living, bioactive liquid fertilizer that feeds your soil's microbiome, strengthens plant immunity, and delivers results that will absolutely astonish you. The Alchemist's kitchen gathering and preparation. Let's start with sourcing your seaweed, which is remarkably simple if you live anywhere near a coastline. The absolute best time for seaweed collection is right after a storm, when massive amounts of kelp and various seaweed species get deposited along the shoreline in concentrated drifts. Low tide also presents excellent opportunities, particularly around rocky areas where different varieties attach and grow. When harvesting, always check your local regulations and practice respectful foraging. Take only what you need and leave plenty for the ecosystem. Give your seaweed a quick rinse with fresh water to remove excess salt, though a little salt water won't hurt the fermentation process. For those living inland, dried kelp meal can work as a substitute, though fresh seaweed contains more growth hormones and active compounds. Now for the fish component, which is where this fertilizer really gets its nitrogen punch. Your local fish market is an absolute goldmine for this project. Most fishmongers are happy to give away fish heads, guts, bones, and other processing scraps that would otherwise go to waste. If you're an angler, save all your fish cleaning scraps, heads, tails, guts, bones, and even the blood-soaked paper you wrap them in. These materials are treasure, not trash. Fresh fish parts are ideal, but even slightly aged scraps work perfectly fine for fermentation. Chop your fish and seaweed into smaller pieces to increase surface area and speed up the breakdown process. The more you chop, the faster your microbes can get to work. Here's where the magic truly happens. For a 1,000-gallon operation, you'll want large food-grade plastic tanks or, multiple 55-gallon drums. But honestly, this method scales beautifully down to 5-gallon buckets for smaller gardens. The fundamental recipe is beautifully simple. Combine equal parts fish and seaweed mixture with equal parts sugar by weight. That sugar source, unsulfured molasses or brown sugar, is absolutely critical because it feeds the beneficial microbes that will break down all those proteins into plant-available amino acids. Start by layering your chopped fish and seaweed in your container, then pour your molasses or dissolved brown sugar over each layer. This is where we introduce our microbial allies. Adding a lactic acid bacteria serum, effective microorganisms, or even plain yogurt or kefir dramatically accelerates the fermentation and helps eliminate that notorious rotting fish smell. Mix everything thoroughly with enough non-chlorinated water to create a thick slurry, but leave at least 1/4 to 1/3 of your container empty. This empty space is essential because fermentation produces gases that need somewhere to expand. Cover your container loosely or use an airlock system if you're feeling technical. The fermentation needs to remain anaerobic, meaning oxygen-free, but gases must be able to escape. Within the first week, your mixture will start bubbling and releasing gases. This is perfectly normal and shows that your microbes are thriving. Yes, there will be a smell in those early weeks, particularly if you're working with large batches. Position your fermentation containers in a well-ventilated area away from living spaces. Interestingly, as the fermentation progresses and beneficial microbes dominate, that offensive rotting smell transforms into something much milder, almost sweet and sour like fermented vegetables. After 3 to 6 months of patient fermentation, your liquid gold is ready for harvest. The longer you let it ferment, the more thoroughly broken down the nutrients become, and the more beneficial the microbe population grows. When ready, your fermented fish and seaweed booster will have a rich, dark amber to brown color, and the smell, while still distinctive, becomes much less offensive, almost pleasant in an earthy, fermented way. The liquid separates naturally from the solids, making harvesting straightforward. Strain your finished product through fine mesh, cheesecloth, or old t-shirt material to separate the liquid from any remaining bone fragments and solid matter. Those leftover solids aren't waste. They make an excellent addition to your compost pile or can be buried directly in garden beds as a slow-release fertilizer. The liquid you've strained is incredibly concentrated and must always be diluted before application. Start conservatively with 1 tablespoon per gallon of water for young or sensitive plants. For established vegetables and perennials, you can use stronger ratios of 1 part fertilizer to 100 or even 500 parts water. Application methods are wonderfully versatile. Use it as a soil drench, pouring the diluted solution directly around plant roots, where it immediately feeds soil microbes and delivers nutrients to the root zone. As a foliar spray, it provides plants with instant access to amino acids and growth hormones, while strengthening their natural defenses against pests and diseases. It also works brilliantly as a compost activator, speeding up decomposition and inoculating your compost with beneficial microbes. Apply every 1 to 2 weeks throughout the growing season and watch your garden absolutely explode with vigorous, healthy growth. The benefits of fermented fish and seaweed extend far beyond the immediate nutrient boost. Over time, regular applications fundamentally transform your soil structure, increasing organic matter, improving water retention, and creating the perfect environment for beneficial fungi and bacteria to thrive. Plants grown with this amendment show noticeably enhanced nutrient uptake, meaning they're more efficient at accessing everything available in your soil. Disease resistance improves dramatically because healthy, well-fed plants naturally produce stronger cell walls and more effective immune responses. This is regenerative gardening at its finest. By transforming local waste streams into premium fertility, you're reducing your reliance on external inputs, building true self-sufficiency, and closing nutrient loops right in your backyard. Store your finished fertilizer in airtight containers in a cool, dark place where it will remain viable for months or even years. Each batch you create represents hundreds or thousands of dollars in commercial fertilizer value, all made from materials that would otherwise decompose unused. We'd love to hear about your experiences with fermented fertilizers and what local waste materials you've discovered in your area. Drop your stories and tips in the comments below, and if you found this guide valuable, please subscribe to Smart Garden and share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to break free from expensive commercial inputs. Let's grow smarter together.